Hi, boys and girls. We're back with Chapter 6 of Hank the Cowdog. It's a dog's life. Just as a reminder, that's what the cover looks like. And here we go with Chapter 6, A Happy Reunion with My Sister. The next morning I awoke to the sound of birds. "Junior, get yourself out of that bed. It's morning and we're burning daylight." "But Papa, I'm tired." "Well, you ought to be, staying up half the night. And you, dog." I opened my eyes and looked into the face so ugly that it could have come straight out of a nightmare. "And you, dog, it's time for you to go on home. We ain't taking you to raise." My first and most natural instinct was to growl at something that awful looking, and then maybe to attack. But I caught myself just as the growl was building in my throat. I remembered how Wallace had got rid of Rip and Snort the night before. I didn't think I could stand that first thing in the morning. "Yes, sir," I said, matter of fact. "Matter of fact, I was just fixing to leave. Adios, Junior. See you around." In a flash, I was out of the cave. "Bye-bye, doggy." Junior waved his wing. Wallace followed me out. "One of these days, maybe we'll have you for supper." I didn't wait around to find out how he meant that. I vamoosed, found a cow trail that led out of the canyon, and headed for town. If you ever have a chance to wake up and see a buzzard first thing in the morning, you'll want to avoid it. That's what you call a rude awakening. Once I'd climbed out of the canyon and hit the rolling prairie country to the north, I had smooth traveling all the way to town. I reached the city limits about 1 o'clock that afternoon and traveled down alleys until I found the place where my sister stayed. Hadn't seen the gal in a couple of years, and I was kind of looking forward to the reunion. She stayed around an old 2-story house on the south edge of town, had a big backyard and several vacant lots around it. If a guy had to live in town, it wasn't a bad place. The back gate was shut, and a lot of dogs would have turned around right there and gone back home, but a locked gate never meant much to me. All you need is powerful back legs and remarkable athletic ability, and you can hop over any gate that's ever been built. I cleared that rascal with 6 inches to spare. I mean, you'd have thought I was a deer the way I soared over it. Didn't see the tricycle on the other side until it was too late. Kind of banged me up when I lit on the middle of it. Got a handlebar right in the end of my nose. I made a pass around the yard and sniffed out the whole situation: trees, shrubs, posts, flower beds, tool shed, lawn chairs, barbecue grill, the whole deal. This was a habit I'd built up over the years and years of dealing with outlaws, wild animals, and dangerous characters. A guy never knows what he's getting into until he knows what he's getting into. My motto has always been, don't take anything for granted, because that's what tombstones are made of. Anyway, I sniffed out the entire yard and left my signature on a couple of shrubs and a clothesline pole, just to serve notice on the local mutts that criminal activity was liable to be dangerous for a few days. As I was signing the clothesline pole, I noticed something odd. There was a horseshoe on the bottom of it, a kind of slipper. Well, that was one of the strangest things I'd ever seen. I mean, I know I'm country and not in touch with your latest trends and fashions in town, but still, why would anybody put a horseshoe at the base of a clothesline pole? There was something particularly peculiar going on around that place, and I figured that after I signed the pole, I'd better conduct a more thorough investigation. I mean, my sister was living in that yard, and I've always been kind of protective of my sis. All of a sudden, I heard a scream. This next part will be hard for a lot of people to believe, so before I go any further, I'll need to establish my credibility as a witness. My years of security work have trained me to be a keen observer and thorough investigator. I never exaggerate the facts, and I'm not easily fooled. In other words, I'm putting all my reputation behind this part. I swear it's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You can take it or leave it. Okay, here's what happened. As I was putting my signature on the clothesline pole, It turned into a human leg. The leg was attached to a woman, and it was she who let out the scream. I was stunned by the scream. Don't you see? Well, you can imagine what a shocker that was. A clothesline pole turning into a woman. Just for a second, I stared at her, and she stared at me. Then she hit me over the head with a clothespin bag and squalled, "Get out of my yard, you nasty dog!" She swung at me again. No ordinary dog could have dodged that second shot. I did, but it was nothing in the world but exceptional athletic ability that saved me. And then I made a dash for the fence. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Maggie. That's my sister. Saw Maggie coming out of her doghouse. "Henry, is that you?" "Hi, Mag, how's it been going?" "Yeah, a rock zinged past my ear. Check you later, sis." I vaulted the fence and took cover in some weeds. I stayed hid for a half an hour. Figured that would have given events enough time to settle down. Then I went back to the fence. But this time I took no chances. Before I jumped back into the yard, I checked things out thoroughly through a knothole. I wanted to be darn sure that neither of those clothesline poles was wearing a slipper. I hopped the fence again and sneaked over to the doghouse. Mag was out front, sunning herself in the sun. She saw me coming and walked out to meet me. "Well, Henry, it's been a long time." All at once she wrinkled her nose and backed away. "What's that horrible smell?" I froze. "Don't move, Maggie. Let me check it out. It could be something serious." I lifted my nose and took an air sample. "Okay, relax. I don't smell a thing." "You don't smell that?" "What? No. I did a test and it checked out negative. I don't smell a thing." She lifted her nose and sniffed the air. She took 2 steps toward me, sniffed, and coughed. "Oh, it's only you." "What do you mean it's only me? What do you expect?" "The odor, Henry. You smell a little ranchy." "Oh, what a wonderful surprise, Henry. What was your difficulty with Mrs. Gregg?" "Who?" "Mrs. Gregg, the mistress of the house, our dear friend and benefactor and wonderful lady who chased you out of the yard half an hour ago." Oh, her. Say, that was a crazy deal." I told her about how the clothesline pole had turned into a woman. She rolled her eyes. "Oh, Henry, how could you be so crude? Oh, I'm so glad the children weren't. Too bad the kids weren't here to see that. What a story. I'll be sure to tell them about it. Say, where are the kids?" "Oh, they've gone to obedience school. They'll not be back until late, and they'll be so sorry they missed you." I went over and flopped down in front of the doghouse. "Well, heck, I can stick around for a while. As a matter of fact," Maggie rushed over to me. "Oh, no, Henry. We understand how busy you must be. We mustn't be greedy with your time. I mean, we understand that a dog with your position as important as yours—" "It is an important position, Mag. I mean, just stop and think about one dog running a 6,000-acre ranch all by himself. It's a 24-hour-a-day job, and danger is never far away. Indeed, it would be irresponsible for us to keep you away from your work. No, we just couldn't ask you to stay as much as we would like to." "Well, if it really means that much to you." "Oh, it does, Henry. It really does. But I do understand. I could probably stick around for a couple days." Of course there will be other times, won't there? And we mustn't grieve, must we?" She smiled at me, and I smiled at her. "No, we mustn't grieve, Maggie. No, indeed. Life's just too short for that." "Yes, it is. Let's leave grief to the grievers." "Well put, Henry. I'm so sorry." "And so am I." We hugged each other. "I'll stay, but only for a couple of days, and only because it means so much to you and the kids." Her smile wilted. She stared at me with wide eyes, and then a strange thing happened. She placed a paw over her forehead and rolled over on her back and moaned. I rushed to her side. "Maggie, what is it? Speak to me. I'm right here at your side." She opened her eyes. "It's these headaches, nerves, tension, too much company. I just need to be absolutely still for about 2 days and it'll go away. Maybe it'd be better if you come back another time, Henry. And leave my sister alone on death's door? A lot of dogs do that. Just walk away from the hard times, but you got a different kind of brother. Yes, I know that. And I have to stay here a whole month. I'll see you through this crisis. Oh, my heavens. Just then, we heard a bunch of little feet on the sidewalk, and a little voice called out, "Hi, Mom, we're back." I looked around and saw my nieces and nephews, 4 of the cutest little Cowdog pups that was ever built. When they saw me there beside their ma, they stopped and stared. Then Roscoe, one of the boys, cried out, "It's Uncle Hank! Oh boy! Hi, Uncle Hank! Can you stay the night?" They came at a run and swarmed all over me, licked me on the face and all that stuff. "Will you tell us a story, Uncle Hank?" asked Spot, the other boy. "Please?" I turned to my sis. "Well, Mag, I guess that settles it. I really should just get back to the ranch. But daggone it, a guy just can't stop and walk away, disappoint all these kids. I guess I can stay for a couple of days." The kids cheered. Maggie covered her eyes with her paw. "How's the headache, sis?" "I think it's just beginning," she said. That's the end of chapter 6. We'll be back soon with chapter 7.